Saint John Neumann was born on March 28, 1811, in Prakaditz, Bohemia, the third child of Philip Neumann, a German stocking weaver, and Agnes Lebisch, a Czech woman. Gifted with languages and learning, he excelled in school and by age 20 had mastered several languages. At first, he contemplated a career in medicine, but his devout mother recognized a deeper calling and urged him toward the priesthood. In November 1831, he entered the diocesan seminary in Bad Weiss. There he read about St. Paul's missionary journeys and became convinced that God was calling him to serve abroad. When his bishop postponed ordinations because the diocese had too many priests, John interpreted the delay as an invitation to go where clergy were scarce, the young United States. Carrying one suit of clothes and a few coins, he boarded a ship in 1836 and sailed across the Atlantic. After arriving in New York, Bishop John Du Bois quickly ordained him, desperate for priests who could minister to German-speaking immigrants. Assigned to a vast parish near Niagara Falls, Father Neumann traveled on foot and horseback through forests and farms, celebrating Mass, hearing confessions, catechizing children, and building simple churches. He lived out of a saddlebag, sharing the hardships of the farmers he served, and he learned to preach in their languages. Longing to share his ministry with others, he joined the Congregation of the Most Holy Redeemer, Redemptorists, in 1840, becoming the first member of the order to profess vows in the United States. His capacity for administration and his zeal for souls led his superiors to appoint him superior of the Redemptorists' American foundations. He crisscrossed Maryland, Virginia, and Ohio, preaching missions, directing parishes and welcoming immigrants of every background. By the time he took his vows, he could speak 8 languages. Later, he would learn several more. In February 1852, Pope Pius IX appointed him the 4th Bishop of Philadelphia. Bishop Neumann inherited a sprawling diocese filled with immigrants who spoke German, English, Italian, Irish, and other tongues. Determined that no child should be deprived of a Catholic education, he created the first diocesan school system in the United States by organizing existing parish schools into a coordinated network. Under his leadership, the number of Catholic schools in the diocese grew from fewer than a half dozen to more than 200. He recruited religious sisters and brothers to staff them and founded a new congregation of teaching sisters. He also promoted the 40 hours devotion, inviting Catholics to spend extended time in adoration before the Eucharist. Bishop Neumann's pastoral work extended beyond education. He consecrated approximately 50 churches and began construction on a new cathedral for the growing diocese. He established charitable institutions, championed the spiritual needs of African American children and immigrants, and visited his flock constantly, traveling by carriage, horseback, or on foot. Despite his lofty office, he retained the humility of a missionary. He owned only one pair of shoes. If someone suggested he change them, he joked that he could only swap the left for the right. When given new vestments, he quietly passed them on to newly ordained priests. He once quipped from the back of a manure cart that no bishop had ever had such a grand carriage. The mid-190th century was a turbulent time. Anti-Catholic sentiment simmered in Philadelphia, erupting occasionally into riots and church burnings. Immigrant communities suffered from poverty and discrimination. Bishop Neumann worked tirelessly to protect his people, sometimes writing to Rome to ask for relief from the burden of leadership. The Pope, however, insisted that he remain at his post. In 1854, he traveled to Rome and was present at St. Peter's Basilica when Pope Pius IX proclaimed the dogma of the Immaculate Conception. Back home, his health deteriorated under the strain of constant travel and administrative work. On January 5, 1860, while walking through a Philadelphia street, he collapsed and died of a stroke at age 48. News of his death spread quickly. People from all walks of life mourned the shepherd who had given everything for them. His body, discovered to be incorrupt, was placed in a glass shrine beneath the altar of St. Peter the Apostle Church in Philadelphia, where it still draws pilgrims. Pope Paul VI beatified John Neumann on October 13, 1963, making him the first American bishop to be so honored, and canonized him on June 19, 1977. Today, he is revered as the patron saint of Catholic educators, immigrants, and sick children. His life of perseverance, linguistic talent, humility, and organizational genius transformed the Church in the United States. The Catholic school systems that flourish across the country owe much to his vision, and his story invites all who follow Christ to persist in their mission, no matter how daunting the obstacles.